What's poppin', y'all? Damn, it looks like that man is back. That man Drake is back. Because recently he's been teasing this Iceman, which we didn't know if it was a project. We didn't know if it was a mixtape. We didn't know if it was another playlist. Going back to More Life, which has aged quite gracefully as a playlist. It wouldn't have made much sense to be called an album. And I remember even back then talking about it like, man, this guy's just trying to get out of the sales, not calling it an album. But it is a playlist. It's got the playlist vibe to it and the curation. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to get directly into the topic, which is a lot of people have some words for Drake's What Did I Miss? And also the live stream that he did in the lead up to the new song. Of course, if you're on Twitter, dog, Drake haters are one of the most insane breeds of people I've ever seen. It's almost as if they can't give him any credit whatsoever. Like some of the criticisms I was seeing, and I was seeing this before I actually got to check out the stream, is they're saying like, yo, this is like very insensitive. Am I tripping, or is this like insensitive because of like the immigration of what's going on now? I'm just like, dog, what? Huh? And then some people are saying, yo, he's got all these guns pointed. This is not insensitive. This is the levels of criticism that I'm seeing. It's almost as if they walked into this video and this upcoming song and we're like, okay, let me see what I can nitpick. And it's like an editor. It's like the writer gives the editor a piece of work and they're like, okay, we got to take this out, remove this comma, change this word, this is wrong, and you have to make all of these adjustments. That's what they're coming into Drake with. They're not trying to be like, oh, let me see if I enjoy this or not. Now, the song, What Did I Miss? I like it. I like the beat as well. It kind of has that, whenever they've got those horns in the back, it just reminds me of Trophies, which is, wow, one of the greatest moments ever in music. And I was so elated when the 100 gigs dropped and we got to see them actually making that song. It was Trophies and 100 gigs, right? Yeah, I'm almost certain it was. So to see it actually being made in the studio, that was a magical moment. It brought like little kid me just such joy that I wish every Drake hater could experience. Now, one of the things that I didn't want to see in this upcoming Drake tracks was him acting tough about anything related to Kendrick Lamar. I didn't want him reigniting this beef in any way whatsoever because he folded out of this beef. That's what he did in the Heart Part 6. He waved the white flag and he got the hell out of there. And he lost that beef objectively. I said that. He got smoked. There's no need to rehash it. Nothing new has changed. And he's also suing Kendrick. He's suing UMG because of Kendrick Lamar. He's really just should be suing Kendrick Lamar because this is a whole defamation thing. We haven't seen anything as of yet in the court documents or the court proceedings that show, oh, well, they use this to devalue him as an artist in negotiations with this other record label. We didn't see any of that. And the absolute cappery that people are trying to pretend isn't cap of him fighting for artists in that building is a joke. He should be fighting for artists in the building of OVO. It absolutely ruined McConan's career. We saw what happened with him. And it's quite sad because I was a McConan. I really enjoyed McConan's music. And that was before he lost a ton of weight as well. But in that meantime, he was dropping some really great music and OVO ruined him. So yeah, he should figure out what's going on in the OVO building, make sure everybody there is thriving before he's talking about fighting for UMG artists. Come on, get the hell out of here with that. But that's not what he did here. Now, sure, there are going to be references to the beef, but that's because of the aftermath of the beef and things that spurred during the beef with relationships that he thought he had with people that were tight. So we get themes of betrayal, like him taking shots at Rick Ross, him going at DeMar DeRozan, as well as LeBron James being hurt, referencing how tight he is or has been with his real team, OVO, that he's known for 20 plus years, that he's been locked in with these guys and they're still around him, never spoke bad about him, and are willing to do anything for him. That's very, very uncommon for most rappers. So in the lead up to the song in particular, he has like this Iceman rollout where he does a driving stream, basically. And I don't want to break up every single detail. Other people are better at that or more willing to do that than me. I like to talk about the overarching kind of like macro view of it. And it's that Drake is actually putting effort into a rollout. When was the last time we saw something like this? If you think about it, maybe it was God's plan, but that was just for a music video. They gave him an M. He handed out that M. It went crazy. The song went crazy. I think it's the #1 most streamed hip hop song of all time on Apple Music's list. And I think it's top 5 of any song on Apple Music as well. But call it hip hop, call it not, it just changes the points. It just changes the rating a couple of times from number 1 to, I don't know, number 4 or 5. But for an album, we really haven't seen Drake put in effort into a rollout. Like Certified Lover Boy for all the dogs, like he would just tease it. He would just talk about it on IG, maybe wear a shirt here and there, mention it for several months, and then drop it. But to actually curate something like this and put in effort, we haven't seen that from Drake, and that's a criticism that his fans have had of him in the past. Academics being one of the biggest people to not only glaze Drake and be a big Drake supporter, but also to give him criticism with like, yo, Drake, why aren't you doing bundles like Travis Scott is? Why aren't you selling box sets? Why aren't you selling vinyls? Why aren't you selling cassettes? You could be doing so much more numbers that would really shut a lot of people up. And Drake just said like, yo, he just likes to sell the music. And even outside of doing these bundles or whatever, there's also the aspect of the lead up to the project. It's never as grand as a Ye rollout is. Like, think about it. When Ye rolled out Donda, this guy was in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, rented out the whole thing. And even in the lead up to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I think it wasn't the Donda. Well, some of the Donda sessions were in Wyoming, but this guy's on a huge truck or tractor in Wyoming, in the mountains, bringing all of these artists out there. That was for Ye, actually. And then when you have, I don't even know if it was Bully or whatever project, like the Vultures one too. He starts having all these Yeezy raves. But with Drake, he gets in this ice truck. Number one, he had to get the license to drive this truck. So he was already working on that. I don't know when he got that license. So he's driving around this Iceman truck. And one of the comparisons that I didn't see people draw, surprisingly, was Iceman could also represent, I think his name was Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman who was, at the time they believed, I think perhaps still, the serial killer in America with the highest kill rate. So I think they said the Iceman had killed like 180 people, had murdered 180 people or so, and they only ended up catching him or recovering a couple of people. And the reason why they called him the Iceman was because he decided to freeze a certain body so that they wouldn't find out what the actual time of death was. So that could be significant to Drake being on his Iceman serial killer type vibe, where he's like, yo, I'm about to come back into the game and catch so many bodies for every single person that thought it was sweet. Because if this not being about Kendrick is what makes it amazing for me, because now we get a reason and adversity for an artist, which is always a great thing, but adversity, betrayal, things like that for an artist like Drake, who's got a pen like he's got, or if you want to say, well, ghostwriters, okay, yeah, or has got a team of writers that he's got. This always brings the best out of him, because when you're at the top of the game, it's really tough to come up with new material. And what better material is there than all of these relationships that you thought you had that were cool with you, and you thought they were beyond industry relationships, in particular with LeBron James. I think he was genuinely very hurt over that. And he has the right to be hurt, because a lot of these people, they want to play both sides. Like DeMar DeRozan and what's his name being an example of that. DeMar DeRozan and LeBron James. Now, I don't know if Yachty's going to catch some bars. Have we seen Drake and Yachty messing with each other as of late? Because Yachty was a little bit lukewarm in his response when he was interviewed about it, and he pulled back a little bit, but he wasn't all the way in on Drake's side in the same way that, let's say, a Gordo was, or even a Kevin Durant was. Although I think Kevin Durant, like, he was listening to both of the songs, but he was never going to put himself in a position where any public outlet could take him saying something positive about Kendrick and spin it in any type of way. He didn't even really speak on it. And that's because Drake is his mans. And that's completely different than being someone who enjoys the music. Like, if you're LeBron James and Drake is, if I'm LeBron James and Drake is my mans, we're boys. But let's say I'm a fan of Kendrick and we've got somewhat of a cordial relationship, and I did a whole video on this on the main channel. I would never be caught dead in public. I would not be at the pop out. Absolutely not. There's 1,000,001 reasons to not show up to that, and legitimate reasons that you could give, which you don't even really need to give any reason. And if he enjoys the music, he can listen to it in his own home, in his own headphones, and nobody would know. But to show out, that's a spit in the face to your man. And this is the thing, in that diss song to your mans, he's being called the worst thing under the sun that you can be labeled. So that's, I really think, and this is also seeing how much this beef has escalated from academics reporting what Kendrick Lamar's team, like Dave Free, was upset with him about. Imagine how upset Drake and his team must be for what Kendrick said, because those guys won the beef and they were upset with what was being said about them. Now imagine the person that lost the beef had someone get shot outside of his crib, already has issues with XO or whatever's going on, and a song, Cardi also being another person that I guess you could say betrayed Drake, hopped on a song with Kendrick when they were locked in, and Drake had shown love to Cardi years before Kendrick ever tapped in with him. So I'm really looking forward to it. The song What Did I Miss? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the raps on it. And this is one of those songs, which is why I really like Drake's writing, is that first listen, you can catch a couple of things and it flows smoothly and you can understand it. But the more you listen to it, the more you uncover. It's kind of like Lil Wayne in that regard, not in terms of depth, but Lil Wayne has certain lines where you're just a little bit confused. Like, well, why did he say that? And then it hits you later on, like 3 months later, for my older Lil Wayne songs. So for Drake, it's going to be so much fun combing through this. I enjoyed the song musically, and I'm looking forward to what he does with Iceman. I hope he makes this a gigantic event. And like I said, the last thing I want is Kendrick to be dragged into this whatsoever. I want this to be about Drake, his relationships, post-beef. I want to hear about the shooting at his crib. I want to hear about America and Canada, but I don't want Kendrick mentioned whatsoever. That's just my personal thoughts. And if there was, like Kendrick mentions, it would be a criticism for me because he waved the white flag. You're not about to reignite this whole thing. But let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. What did you think of the song? Are you liking the outlet? I am true. Are you liking the rollout? And do you like the rollout but not like the song? Either one. Really interested in hearing people who are either Drake fans or impartial to the whole situation. Like, if you're a Drake hater, just sit this one out, please. Your comment will stink of Drake hater, like anchovies, to be honest. So you wouldn't even be able to hide it. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.